All right, I'm going to go through in designing a box that you could keep jewelry or rings, or it's going to be large enough to hold the deck of cards, but also big enough if you want to put other things in there as well. After this box is designed and cut out, then you can router also a design. This is the lid, so you could router a design to your lid, or you could laser a design onto your lid or bottom, or even the sides of it as well. So this is what it's going to end up looking like at the end. So let's get going on this. So the first thing we do is I'm going to start a sketch, and I'm going to make sure I'm sketching on this bottom plane, and I'm going to start with a rectangle, and I'm going to start with a center point rectangle, and my dimensions are 3.5 by 5. Press finish sketch on this, and I'm going to extrude this actually to 0.625. That's 5/8. Alright, now just to make life a little bit easier, I'm going to just extrude it down. So I'm working on this one right now, so I'm going to extrude this part down. So I'm going to draw a sketch on the top of this, and it's going to be a center point rectangle again. And this time, my shape, as from trial and error, it's actually going to be 3.063 by 4.188. Finish that sketch, and I'm going to actually extrude that down a negative 0.406. Alright, now I want to make a second one. I'm going to make part of my top. To do that, I'm going to actually construct a plane off the side, and I'm going to a 1/4 inch, 0.25, so there's my plane. And I'm going to mirror this bottom, actually this is my top, to make my bottom. I'm going to press mirror and object type. I'm going to make sure I have body selected. The mirror plane, I'm going to choose that new plane I constructed, and then I can press make sure my operation says new body, press OK, and then there is the bottom. Now I don't want this plane in there, so I'm going to actually hide my construction so it's kind of hidden. Alright, so now inside here I'm going to draw a rectangle so that I can make the top come up. So I'm going to start a new sketch. I'm going to choose the bottom, and again I'm going to choose a center point rectangle, and this time I have to kind of find my center point. So if I scroll along here, that triangle there shows that's my middle, and then that's my middle, and if I kind of drag along it, I can get both right there, place my center point, and I'm actually going to make my center point rectangle be 2.625, so 2 5/8. Press tab to move over, and that is 3.75. The next thing is I'm going to offset this line so that I can extrude this up. So I'm going to choose modify and choose offset, choose this line, and from trial and error I've discovered 0.17 will be the perfect offset so that it fits into this. You really have to get these to fit into it nicely if it's going to be a friction fit, and that gives me a nice friction fit. I'm going to press finish sketch, and I'm going to then extrude that rectangle up 0.844. Now notice I have that gap in there, so I actually want to extrude that back up here. And if you remember, we extruded that down 0.406. So I'm going to have to kind of get in here. I'm going to press extrude, and I'm going to get that rectangle there, and 0.406 extrusion, press OK, and that kind of erases that. Alright, so now I'm going to use a 1/4 inch drill bit to cut this all out. When you're cutting inside this, a 1/4 inch drill bit can't leave a sharp angle like that. So I'm actually going to, in my sketch, I'm going to show that 1/4 inch there. So I'm going to select that inside corner, move this around, select that inside corner. I'm going to do all of them at once. If you need to do one at a time, that is okay. If you're not able to move around this easy, select my corners. The last one. and it's a 1/4 inch drill bit, so my radius for my fillet here has to be 0.25. I'm going to do that again, and this time I'm going to do my outside corners for this top portion, because this is going to fit into here, and those are rounded, so I got to make sure it would cut a sharp angle there on the outside, but I don't want it because it needs to fit inside the center of this. So 0.25 again on the outside. Alright, now I like the outside of this to be kind of chamfered as well, so I'm going to do our fillet. So I'm going to choose my outside corners, and these ones I'm actually going to do a 1/2 inch. Is a look that I like. If you want to customize that to a different, you can. So I'm going to do 0.5, and I like that look there. Okay. Now I also want to put these indents, kind of helps open up the box. So I want to find, so I'm going to draw a sketch on this one first. So start a sketch here, and I'm going to choose center point rectangle, and I'm going to find my center point on this. There's my center. I'm actually going to move it, and I want it to be 2 inches long, and then this dimension doesn't matter as long as I'm covering past here. So if this would be too small, that's fine right there. And I'm going to do another one over here. This, again, that dimension doesn't matter as long as I don't want to go over to the other, the bottom portion. And then that's 2, press enter. Alright, and I'm going to press finish that sketch, and then I'm also going to start a sketch on this, and this time I'm just going to do a simple 2-point rectangle, and I'll explain. I don't want to cut into here, so I want to be careful on where I'm going. There's my center, and it kind of 0.268 kind of gives me like a stop. It just kind of assumes I want it there, which I do, so that's good. So 0.268, and then I'm going to make this be 1 inch. I'm going to choose that again, and I'm going to go up with it, 0.268 by 1 inch. 1 inch gives me 2. Do another 2-point, and I can do this a little bit easier. If I drag this over, it gives me a straight line, and then I can go 2 inches down by 0.268. And I'm going to finish that sketch. So now I want to extrude all those down. So I'm going to press extrude. I'm going to select this one, I had to select both of these, and then this one, and I'm going to extrude that down to negative 0.25. And there is my box. So now I'm going to make sure I save this as a card holder or a box, whatever it is you want to save it as. Do a CNC router, and we can go to manufacture. First thing I'm going to do is change my units to inches. If you're in millimeters, change it to inches. Mine's in inches, and we have to do a new setup. Now I'm going to choose my bottom left hand corner, choose my model, in stock. My stock that is 15/16 that I'm starting with. So if I take my top offset off, I'm at 1 inch. So I need to go back to my design here. Now, and what I need to do is I'm going to extrude, I need this to be 0.844, so I'm going to extrude this down a negative 1/8, and that means I can also extrude this down a negative 1/8, and that will give me my measurements I need. Resave that, go back to manufacture, do my new setup, choose my corner, choose my model. In my stock now, if I take my offset, top offset off, which is I want 0.938, that gives me 15/16 pretty much right there. Press OK. No model selected. All models will be used. Perfect. Yes. All right. Pretty simple toolpath. We're going to just do some 2D pockets, and we are also going to choose a contour. So I'm going to do a 1/4 inch compression bit. I like the compression bit. I'm in Speed Tool Library, so if you've taken my class, you know how to find that. 1/4 inch compression bit. This is actually 2003. If I come down here, I'm going to choose hardwood. You can also select this later. Coolant, I'm going to disable that. Over to geometry now. I'm going to select my top. I got to select all of these, so they kind of highlight. Select my top. I'm actually going to select the top here just so it makes it nice and flat. There's all my geometry selected. I'm going to go heights, I don't need to touch. Passes, I want to go down to multiple depths, and I'm going to change this to an 1/8. 0.125. Over to linking, I'm going to shut off my lead in, lead out. I don't need that. For ramp type, I'm going to change that to plunge. And then I can press OK. And it should make our toolpath. Should be right around 12 minutes, 12 and a half minutes. Next thing is I'm going to do a 2D contour. And my bit is still that 1/4 inch flat end mill, which is perfect, so I'm going to use the same bit. There's my outside there, and choose my outside on that for my geometry. So that'll go all the way down. The heights don't need to change. Passes, again, multiple depths. We're going to change it to 0.125. Linking, we don't need to mess with anything. Press OK. This should add about another almost 2 minutes. Alright, now I can post-process these. There's one, there's two. I'm going to press and hold Control to select both because it's the same tool bit. I'm going to go to post-process, change it to card holder, the name. For the post, I'm going to have my Techno 2 or my Patriot, either one. Select OK. And my machine type, because I'm doing the HD2, I'm going to press that, and I can press OK. I didn't have a folder. One thing, if it gives me an error, I need to change my work offset to 1. Mine's automatically 1. Yours might not be. And I got an error there. They didn't have a folder selected because I don't have my flash drive in. So let me show that one more time. Card holder, output folder. It's set to a flash drive that I don't have in. So I'm just going to choose my downloads folder, HD2, because that's the machine I'm using. If I need to change that, I might choose my Patriot or whatever tool that I have. That'll kind of change depending on this. And change my output folder again, so go back to my downloads, select folder, and then everything should be the same. And then I would normally put that on my flash drive, and it's posted successfully, so it's ready to go.